What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Sunnydale Live. I'm your host, Jonathan, and today we're talking about yet another Xander episode, The Pack. This episode starts off at the zoo, and Buffy's just kind of miserable. She gets picked on by some bullies who are the cool kids, but are really lame and not at all interesting. It's like the worst example of popular kids you could think of, which is insane because Cordelia and the Cordettes do popular so well. These guys just seem like losers. But regardless, they pick on Buffy, then they pick on this other little kid. And, well, not little kid, he's their age, but he picks on him, and the kid defends him. The Flutie, the principal, comes up, tries to stop him. The kid defends them, and then they take it to the hyena pit to mess with them. And it's like, what the hell? He saved you from getting in trouble, and you're still gonna attack him and hurt him? God, ungrateful. Xander, drops some knowledge on Buffy. The field trip's not about where you go. It's about not being in class. Something that Buffy seemed to have neglected. And then they see the bullies, and Buffy wants to go jump to the rescue because she's a hero. That's who she is. And Xander's like, nah, I got this. I got this. Doesn't involve any slaying or supernatural. I'm going to save the day. So Xander goes in, confronts them, and then they all get possessed by hyenas. No good deed goes unpunished, especially in the Buffy universe. Yeah, and you don't necessarily know what happens right away. It's a real slow kind of burn, with Xander just kind of being a little bit of a dick and seeming to get stupider. He smells Buffy in the bronze. The dodgeball game is intense. Like they play dodgeball because it's raining outside, and they just start chucking the balls at people hard as hell and eliminating a bunch of kids right off the bat. And then it's all the hyenas on one side and Buffy on the other side, and they all lift it up to eliminate Buffy, and then they stop, lower the balls, and then turn on the same loser kid from before and just pelt him to the ground. And it's like, that poor kid, what did he do? But it's because it is established whenever Buffy and Willow were trying to go after Xander, the zookeeper stopped them. It's like, hyenas can call your name to get you alone, and they only go after the weak. They don't go after the strong. So because Buffy's strong, the hyenas leave her alone. They go after whoever they think they can beat, whoever they think they can attack and kill. And it's pretty brutal. Willow and Buffy have a nice little conversation about their crushes, Willow and Xander and Buffy and Angel, and it makes it even more heartbreaking when Xander just tears into Willow like, I don't ever have to see your pasty face again. You're not shit. Yada yada. Like, just real cruel. And then Buffy confronts him and he just laughs and blows her off and hangs out with his newfound friends. And Willow's just like, she kind of blames Buffy, which is unfair because Buffy, even if Xander wasn't possessed and Xander was just being an asshole, it's not Buffy's fault. The fact that Xander has a crush on her is not anything that Buffy did. That's just, Buffy's not responsible for how other people react to her. And to be fair, Willow, what Xander said to Willow crossed the line, yeah, but she's not entitled to having Xander have feelings for her. That's not how life or relationships or anything else works. And I think people need to understand that more. There's we see this school mascot running around. It's this little pig, and Buffy saves him, and it's real cute and adorable. So of course the hyenas eat him. They eat the damn pig. After trying this whole episode is really just these kids doing montages, trying to act cool, walking on tables, walking in slow motion through the halls, picking up someone's hot dog and just eating it and then throwing it aside. It's just, the amount of cringe in this episode is next level. It's just off the wall. It really is. You gotta love it though. But it is like, what the fuck am I watching? So they eat the pig, and Buffy's convinced that he's a hyena. Buffy figures it all out in her head. Like I'm telling you, man, she's real smart. She's real quick. She doesn't get nearly enough credit. Everyone always talks about Giles and Willow being the brains, but Buffy's real quick. She makes intuitive leaps, and she normally lands on the right spot. And she's trying to explain to Giles, like, Xander's acting weird. He's being aggressive and mean and moody. And Giles just kind of blows it off. He's like, well, he's a teenage boy. His testosterone's everywhere. Like, yes, he's an asshole. Boys can be cruel, but he's not demonic. This is normal. Unfortunately, this is how it's going to be for a while. He'll grow out of it. Like you can't fix it. So I think it's another important thing that people don't learn. You can't fix people. If people are assholes, they're assholes. It has nothing to do with you. Leave them alone. Just don't interact with that person. But then Willow comes in and they find out that the hog was eaten, and Giles like, all right, yeah, no, it's possession. All right, let me go figure this out. So he really quickly goes and figures it all out. Meanwhile, Buffy goes to look for Xander. He confronts her, and when Buffy and Xander are going at it, the other hyenas get confronted by the principal. So we got two different things going on at the same time. We got Xander trying to essentially sexually assault Buffy. It's the hyena. It's not like Xander's not doing this. He's possessed. It's just weird what people get hung up on. The hyena is doing it. But whatever. So then the boys, the pack, the two guys, two girls, the weird people, we'll call them the pack. They start mocking Flutie, and Flutie's trying to be the disciplinarian and put him in their place. And they attack him and straight up eat him. They eat the principal. This show has 3 principals. 2 of them end up eaten. You do not want to work at Sunnydale High. You're gonna end up food for someone else. It's insane. So Buffy knocks out Xander. They lock him in a cage. I do have to wonder why no one ever finds it odd that the school library has a section that is literally caged off and everyone's just cool with it. Nobody has a problem with it. At a certain point, you'd be like, why does the library have a cage? I don't think that's normal. Maybe we should investigate why the librarian put a cage up in the middle of the library. But now people just ignore it. They just go on about their lives. I mean, it does get acknowledged on the with Gingerbread Man or whatever, Gingerbread Man. That's not the name of the episode, is it? It's the episode with the occult. What is the occult episode? Give me one moment. Gingerbread, I was right. How dare I doubt myself? Alright. So, it does get acknowledged on that episode. But besides that, people just ignore the fact that there's a cage in the library, which is wild to me. But they have Xander locked in there. They find out that the other pack ate the principal. So Willow stays and watches over Xander while Buffy and Giles go talk to the zookeeper, who immediately is like, oh, I thought something was wrong. And he's like, I could fix this. Bring them here, and I can set everything right. And they're like, well, how will we find them? We only have one of the 5. And he's like, no. After the rest eat, they'll go and track down their missing member, which is like, oh, shit, Willow's in trouble. So Buffy and Giles rush back to the school, but it's too late. Xander is already awake, and he tries to manipulate Willow, but she figures it out, and she's like, I'm just going to ignore you. But then the others come and start calling her name, and then they attack, and she runs. Luckily, before they can hurt her, Buffy shows up, fights them off, saves Willow, and the pack takes off. And then they attack this little family that's fighting because the guy was trying to holla, I guess, at his wife's sister or something. I don't know, in front of the kid. I'm really intrigued with this family's drama. I'm just like, what was going on in this house that you guys are this upset? But Buffy saves the family, and then they go and Willow and Giles went to the zookeeper to set everything up while she gets them to go there. Willow waits outside while Giles goes in to make sure that the zookeeper has everything he needs. And as he does so, the zookeeper has this mask and he has a pentagram. Well, not a pentagram, but he has this symbol written on the floor. And Giles is like, all of this stuff would have had to be here when the initial thing happened. And he starts to put it together and he's like, oh, you set all this up. And it turns out the zookeeper wanted to be possessed. He just didn't know about the predatory act. So he knocks out Giles. Willow comes in and makes sure everything's okay. He holds the knife to Willow's throat and is like, I just need to pretend to hurt you for the predatory act. Buffy comes in with the hyenas and Willow figures it all out too. It's like, Buffy, it's a trap. And the hyenas attack Buffy, and the dude starts to go on it, and it triggers the spell, and all the hyena spirits get sent into the sky. And before he could hurt her, Xander, now coming into himself, is like, oh no, Willow! And without missing a beat, saves her life, then gets his ass knocked out. Buffy throws the zookeeper in with the hyena pit. He dies. Everything's back to normal. It's a weird episode. It's definitely not the strongest episode, but it's interesting. Deals with interesting things. It's definitely kind of out there with the whole animal possessions of predatory acts and all that. Killed Flutie, poor guy. Xander pretends to not remember anything, and he asks the girls if he did anything else wrong, and they lie and tell him no. Giles confronts him and is like, I know that you didn't forget everything. And he's like, well, you're going to tell him? Giles is like, nah, your secret's safe with me. So it's kind of everything gets resolved, except for, obviously, the principal's dead. Um, but yeah, there's not a whole lot in this episode. It is kind of Monster of the Week episode, and it's not necessarily even the strongest one of those, but the underlying current of getting swept up in the wrong crowd and personalities changing to fit in, and even an argument about consent and learning to take no and being too aggressive in that route. And they are trying to say, I feel like, trying to say a lot in this episode. And some of it lands, some of it is kind of like, but I don't know. I feel like as the series progresses and we get to know the characters better, they can do these types of stories a lot more smoothly. This episode always, to me, feels kind of out. Like it doesn't really fit in with the momentum that the rest of the show has. But then again, there's actually a few episodes in season 1 that I feel this way about. Teacher's Pet kind of was the same thing. Teacher's Pet and The Pack, both of them are just kind of odd episodes. And the two Xander-centric episodes in season 1. But it's trying a little too hard to catch onto the theme of high school as hell, which Joss Whedon has said is the premise of the show. And I get that, but I don't know. For me, for my money, it's like these episodes and episodes like these, Out of Sight, Out of Mind is another one, are playing more into the theme of high school as hell than it is playing into who these characters are. It doesn't really progress things forward so much as it just, here's an interesting anecdote about growing up, or here's an issue that our characters have to deal with. You know what I mean? If that makes sense? Like, I don't know. I feel like these episodes are more plot centric than character driven. Even though they are getting through the plot through character development, it feels like plot first, character second. If that makes sense. But it's still a good episode. It's still fun. It's still worth rewatching. And there are some things in it that are interesting. There are some things in it that are like, all right, I can get behind that, or, oh, that was pretty cool. And it is cool to see yet another example of Buffy, like, figuring things out before anyone else, putting together the pieces that everybody else is struggling to put together. She really is a great leader, and they established that early on in season 1. And I do love that about this show. But anyways, I'm Jonathan. Till next time, give us legends.